Hola, hola a tots. Soc el Marc Busquets, director artístic del Festival de Lit Victoria a Los Angeles Live Victoria, i ara estem esperant a la Marina Biotti per posar-nos en directe, a veure si es connecta. Aquí està. A veure... A veure si es connecta. Chao, Marina.
Hola.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Hola.
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Muy bien.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. After all this, no? So many things change, no? Since we met in Milan.
Happened. Wait, I'm just gonna put you a bit louder.
Okay.
Oh yeah, now perfect with the good intonata voice of the Spanish language. This is Gabriel.
Nice.
Fantastic musician.
From where? ¿De dónde eres tú?
Sorry, I don't speak Spanish.
He's
I'm
French.
guitarist. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm very ashamed. But
No. I thought because of your name that perhaps you were Spanish and because you're doing this kind of repertoire, but
looks like one, right?
No, Bianco is Italian actually.
Yeah. But I don't know. I thought so. Sorry about that.
No problem.
No problem.
I told him because he's gonna join me later, he can just stay around.
Yeah, sure. Where are you now, you both?
So we're in Zurich because we perform a concert tomorrow. Our first performance since the beginning of the lockdown. So
yeah, we have a recording, a video recording in a place in Zurich with public, like very few, but still we are so happy.
That's very nice today. I think you could see it on internet at 5, just now it happened, that they did it at the Opera House here in Barcelona. They did a concert, Crisantemi by Puccini, the quartet, with the audience that were all plants.
They were all what?
Plants.
Plants!
Nice.
You got it right, but it was very poetic actually. It was super beautiful. I will send it to you.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's very
real people, but because plants cannot clap, that's the problem.
Yeah, but they are not very critical as well. So
they are not very critical.
Actually, they clapped in the end, so it was good. With the leaves,
yeah.
It was pre-recorded, which was very, very, very nice actually. So
that's amazing.
Very, very cool. It's a good idea. It's very creative now, everything, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it. Everything that is creative always has my vote.
Yeah, I know. We'll speak about that.
Yes.
But you used to work together before, right?
We just we met in one concert this year in Brussels. We had to make one song together. We never saw each other before. Like it was a match. It worked very, very well. No, it is true. And so I thought, maybe I would really like to work with him furthermore, have another recital, and so I spoke with him, and we decided to create this special recital that we will play tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's half Spanish, half in French, with a lot of de falla, fore, and then some more popular music.
Yeah, and also I want to add that for that concert we had just a short time to rehearse. So basically we had just 10 minutes to say, okay, I do this, I do that, piano here, can you play a bit more forte? So basically we really met on the stage.
We met on stage.
We had no time really
really.
to say hello.
I was a bit sick, so I didn't sing when we practiced. I was like marking. And then we discovered the thing on stage in front of the audience.
Yeah, and I was also finishing my arrangements when we were rehearsing. So it was,
and he did a very, Gabriel has this thing that he's doing arrangements of everything. Even, like for instance, De Falla has already been arranged for guitar, but he did his own thing. He doesn't want to do what everybody does. So I find it very interesting.
Well, that's very fair, I think, because in classical music it seems that you cannot have like your input or improvisation or something like that. So I don't know what you feel about that.
I like it because it's special. It's still respecting completely the scores, but it's, for instance, Fauré, it's for piano and voice, and he created an arrangement for guitar and voice, but not for guitar, you know, like just chords, like real solo guitar also. So it's very interesting because then the guitar is at the same level as the voice. It's not just accompaniment, you know,
Yeah.
or playing the chords. So he's very good at it.
I think it's very nice to have leader with other instruments that is not piano, you know, because somehow it feels like you have, you know, it's just for piano and voice and like this romantic repertoire, which is fantastic, no? But still, there's so many things. For instance, the Spanish, of course, but also the French repertoire that you have it with guitar or with harp, and it's
or with bandoneon, I like it a lot as well, and I think it gives so many different colors. And I like to sing with guitar because it's intimate, and you can make much more things because it's less present than the piano. It gives you more opportunity to say the text right, and I really like it a lot.
And you arrange a lot of pieces that are not for guitar to guitar?
Yes, actually, I studied arrangement at the National Conservatory in Paris, and I have a guitar quartet with 4 percussion guitars, where we made 4 albums, and in all those albums is full of arrangements.
Mm-hmm.
I also published some arrangements on the Salabert, Maxi Chig. So yeah, it's part of my let's say specificities, and I have to say. I mean, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of time, but it's a lot of pleasure, actually. Pleasure to have something which is personal, which is all, because, you know, in the guitar repertoire, sometimes you have people, they do arrangements, but like 50 years ago, and today we have maybe different possibilities, so I like to explore it by myself. And especially, I like to add a few, well, I don't change the text, but in popular music, I like to add a few jazz chords. Just for fun, you know, and she likes it very much. So.
You will hear it at the end of this little chat. Arrangements. Actually, the whole concert is approximately 1 hour 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
These arrangements, all the songs.
That's very nice. Actually, it's very true what you said, because I think it changes a lot from one time to another. Like 50 years ago, even the voices, no? You listen to the voices like 50 years. And it was completely different, and the way to sing it, and somehow nowadays everybody's very nostalgic. But if we would go to an opera house and listen that voices singing that repertoire, if we would like it, like, you know,
that's a big question. I think it changes with the years. Tastes are changing and evolving, and also it's a matter of like now the orchestras are somehow louder, so louder voices, and I feel that nowadays it's all about being loud, and this is something I really don't like. When I go to the opera and I have all those things screaming, I am like, is it possible to have one moment of piano in this piece? Like, you know, can we make a dynamic? And but sometimes it's not, because of the shape of the pit where the orchestra is, and the instruments who are more, I don't know why, but it's louder. Everything is so loud, and we are one singer with one instrument like this to pass hundreds and more of musicians and choirs and go at the end of the room. So just with your own voice without microphone. So of course, at one point you have to shout somehow. So I think this is the big difference from me when I hear the old recordings. It seems that everything was much, much less about loud and more about emotions and about artistry. Maybe it was less clean, maybe it was also less technical, but it was much more about being an artist. And this is really what I miss nowadays. They are much less artists, very good singers, a lot of very, very good, proper technical singers, and much less artists, real artists who have their own personality, their own color, and who are daring things on stage. And I think it goes with also critics of now it's all about, oh, she could do the high note very well, and it's not about, wow, she touched us. So that's all together. It's kind of a fashion, and now the fashion is loud, technical, clean.
Yeah, totally. I think so as well because I mean nowadays it seems like all voices from all the countries it had the sound the same way, that it's like dark, loud, and like somehow in the back of of the instrument.
Yeah.
And then, like lighter voices that it used to be, and then the orchestras are louder and everything is louder. And I don't know, because sometimes you listen to an all opera recording and sometimes there's parts of the opera that it seems parlando, you know. And nowadays you cannot hear that in an opera house. I don't know, like Otello, I'm thinking now, you know, like that Dixie, the Ave Maria, if you listen like Victoria or others, even there was a moment that it was like a recitative. Somehow they were like parlando that, and nowadays everything it's like volume is what you said, which is a pity.
And people will be very impressed that it's so loud. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay, but that's for me the big artistry is to manage as well to be loud and as well to have still a projection in the piano in the less loud dynamics. And this is where I am so admiring artists who can do that, both actually.
How you feel about that, Gabriel?
No, actually, I'm always impressed because I play sometimes with singers, and there is always a moment in the concert where the singer wants to show how powerful he can sing. I kind of enjoy it as well, but then it's a bit for me because then I have also to play. Yeah, actually. Well, I don't know, because I think it depends also on the whole, because just in Paris there is those two operas and the sound is very different in both rooms.
Garnier and Bastille.
Yeah. So usually as the acoustic changes also. Well, I'm not a singer myself, but I feel that people have to adapt themselves, and then they can keep the high notes, with a bigger voice or less. But it really depends also on how the orchestra sounds. If they have a lot of space, right?
The conductor.
Yeah. How they can manage to have the sound all together. So
Well, when you hear Cecilia Bartoli, she has such a small voice, and I don't know, but with her, all the orchestras in the world are playing so not loud because they want her to shine. So I think it also depends on who is singing, who is conducting, who is where, and
Well, you have advantage because your brother is a conductor, so at least you can say that clearly. No?
Yeah. Problem, and I even would say it to my brother if it would be a problem, but he's one of those conductors who listens and says, okay, let's be careful that we can help this or this singer.
Juliet in actually.
Yeah.
It
was a wonderful experience. It was the first time we were together on stage. He was conducting and I was singing, and was for me I was so happy because I was a bit scared in the beginning. I thought, how will we manage? He's my brother, but he's the conductor.
Really,
Yeah, I was like, what if he says something I don't agree? And it never really happened. And once I didn't agree, and I said, hey, but we discussed and you said you're going to do that. And then he was like, yeah, but today I changed my mind. And I was like, all right, I'll keep it for myself, but wait for the break. And so I said, okay. And I was like, by the way, what you did later before, why was that? Oh, I don't know, I felt this way. I was like, yeah, but this is not for me very comfortable. So maybe he says, yeah, of course, tomorrow I will do it. So, but yeah, at the end, it's still my boss. So I have to do what he wants.
True, that's why.
And actually, I agree with so many things he says. And he's such an amazing... Wait, Georgina, she just joined us, and we are actually at her house right now.
Ah, wow.
Thank you, Georgina,
thank you so much.
for this amazing place where we can rest and practice and have a good time. She's an amazing friend, and she's also, I give her some singing lesson. She has a beautiful alto low voice. So,
nice.
to Georgina.
Beautiful house, indeed.
Yes, yes, we are very lucky.
Yeah, we're lucky.
And you were supposed to come here at the Liceu for Barbiere in July, right?
Yes, I was so looking forward, and I was singing with so many amazing colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, yeah, this happened, and I'm very sad because that was probably one of the highlights of my season, because I love singing Rosina, because I love singing at the Liceu, I love Barcelona. I knew every colleague on the both casts, so now I'm super sad that I cannot do it, but they postponed it in 2025.
Wow, that's.
So I'll be singing Rosina when I will be almost 40 years old. Yay!
That's not a problem, you know.
No, because I'm gonna be young forever.
It's the spirit.
Exactly.
And back in time, in the 60s and the 50s, they were singing at that age, and it was perfectly okay, you know. So
Di Donato are still singing Rossini, and it's fine.
Victoria Los Angeles, in I think it was 1961 that she did the debut in Byron with Tannhäuser, Elizabeth.
Wow.
Same year she sang Rosina, you know.
But you know, that was another time. Our days, I don't know if it would be possible.
But
I
yeah,
think casting is so scared of this.
I wonder why sometimes, you know, if it's the audience, it's the industry, you know, or what. But I mean,
yeah, I think it's also the technique, because if you sing Rosina, you have to keep your voice light and fresh and high. And then if you, the same 2 months later, you sing Wagner, the problem of our world, our days, is that Wagner is loud.
yeah.
So you have to push. And if you push, you put a weight on your voice, and then it's very hard to switch. But in those times, maybe orchestras were lighter, like we spoke before, everything was lighter, and maybe it was then much easier. But I know a friend, Edmond Dubois, who is doing this. She does Baroque, and then Wagner, and then Verdi, and then Rossini, and she can sing everything, and she's so healthy. So it's possible. It's rare, but it's possible. I think I would be more shy, but
yeah. But you're coming next year, no, for Le Conte of Man.
Yes, I'm so happy. I will come for my first Niklause.
Yeah.
I have also many friends in the cast, and the cast is so amazing. And the other Niklause is Stéphanie Doustrac, and I'm such a fan of her doing. So I was like, wow, this is the best production. I can't wait.
And the production is very beautiful, I have to say. So you will enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, I'm looking forward so much to it.
And actually, I was thinking now, going back, and Gabriel, if you want to add something, like it's open totally, the conversation, like completely free.
Well, I mean, you guys are having a great time together, so I don't want to interrupt it. You know?
He's being the pretty face of the interview.
Exactly. I just smile. Right? I'm like, really?
I have to do this later when you will sing, you know, so it's fair.
Practice.
Yeah. About Rosina, actually, what is fascinating, if I sometimes I think we forget that Rosina then is the Countess of Almaviva of Le Nozze di Figaro, you know. And actually, it's fascinating how this character, the evolution of this character through the two operas, because it's two complete different personalities, no?
Yeah.
And actually, there's a moment of Nozze that she says that it's not Rosina anymore when the Count names her Rosina, you know, calls her Rosina. And actually, this is very, you know, because they take Barbiere as a light opera, and sometimes, if you put it in that perspective, it's so sad, Barbiere.
It can be very sad, and actually my first Rosina, I had the very big chance to work with Pierre-Emmanuel Rousseau, who is a very good stage director, and he told me this is the first day. He said, don't ever forget when you will do this Rosina that it is going to be the Countess in the Nozze, and so you should never forget that there is this thing in her, the future of her when you do it, and so also the fact that she's this girl that is locked down like we were for 3 months. But she is from this tutor who wants to marry her, this old man who is so disgusting. And she's like, she's in jail. She cannot go out. She has to stay there. She wants freedom so much. And so she will just take any chance she has to go out. And this chance is this young guy, but she doesn't even know him. She just saw him and he took it as a challenge to take her out. We are not really even sure that they love each other, but and so there is this violence that you have to feel from this tutor who wants to keep her, who wants to marry this young girl, and she's desperate. She just wants to escape. So I don't think it's such a light character that is always like, oh, I think she's just a bit desperate, and she's very strong as well, because she will go against all the conventions that a woman can escape with a man that she even didn't marry. You know, that's the plan in the beginning, and she just goes, and she doesn't even think about the consequences. And so she's very brave in this matter. I think she's very modern also. And then you will see her later on in the Nazi and so melancholic and becoming so rich. Also, there is this thing that she's probably already rich when she's a Rosina. We don't really know how she got this money, but she has some money. And then, yeah, and then she to a higher level of society, which is also something very rare, that a prince will, like a count will marry a girl that he, anyway. And then she will be so disappointed and sad, and even if she has all it, she's much less this naive, because she's a bit naive also in the beginning. So I think it's so interesting to look at Rosina on the perspective of Mozart as well.
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes people forget that, and it's very interesting to put it in context, you know, because then Nodze, for me, it's for the Countess is so sad, you know.
Yeah, that's why for me it's so interesting that Rosina is a mezzo, because you have this color that is more of a woman than of a young girl. She's quite already she has such a temper. She's already a woman. Also in the Barbiere, for me, she's not this naive little girl. She has been through a lot already. And in the staging that I had in Strasbourg with Pierre Emmanuel, there was this moment we were eating with the tutor, and he was at the other side of the table, and he was looking at me with this, and I was holding the knife, and there was this moment that I was like, I'm gonna kill this guy, you know. Doesn't let me go.
Rosina Tosca.
Yeah, that's exactly the moment, like, and then she drops it, and he's like, it was all his area, and then he was grabbing her very violently to do what he wants, and there was this fight always, and she was even kind of a bitch a bit sometimes in production, and I liked it because she doesn't let herself manipulate. She's trying herself to manipulate. So she's smart.
Yeah.
I think.
You can see that in the aria, actually. She said that very clearly.
Exactly.
It plays on you, but you know?
Yeah.
And
again, it's not something I like to sing like, no, it's like, she's a snake at this moment. And you have to feel it, and that's why I think it's really a mistake, in my opinion, to take a young soprano to sing Rosina. I think a mezzo of like after 25 years old is also good. It gives another color.
I think so.
Yeah.
And also, because you will come to the Live Victoria in 2021, which we are thrilled about it, and looking forward to it. We will announce it in July, something like that, because we will announce 2020 and 2021. Because I think we have 5 minutes or so until you sing a bit for us. I would like about the repertoire that you do, because we have spoken about that sometimes, that it's not something that it's static or dead, the repertoire, that it's in movement, and I really share that, and I'm sure that you do, Gabriel.
I'm really happy when we spoke about it in Milan, that you were so I'll say open to this idea, because I feel that recitals nowadays are so static and so déjà vu. Always the singer with the girls and the piano and nothing moves, and I do a Schubert recital. I think it's amazing. I love this music and I love watching it, but I wonder if we should not change a bit the form, the shape of it, because people are getting a bit bored to see all the time the same things, the same program, and the same thing on stage. And we always say, yeah, there's no more anyone coming to see a recital or an opera, and only old people. So my target as a young opera singer has always been to try to change that, to try to move a bit those codes. And I wanted, because I come from the metal scene and from the jazz scene, and I thought I have to bring some of this there. And so I created those different projects, and always there is one thing that is common to all of them, is that something happens on stage. For instance, the one that I will perform for your festival, all the musicians, so there is contrabass, saxophone, piano, and me. And all the musicians are part of the project, so it's part of the story. So when I sing, the saxophone player, if he doesn't play, he's my partner on stage as an actor. And things happen, and then the public it's like a show. They are never going to be bored. And I do this mix of opera, operette, lieder, chanson, jazz, cabaret, a bit of slam even. And I think it's, people even don't notice that we jumped from one style to another, because we tell a story. And in every project I have, I try to do that. And with Gabrielle, the same. We have this first part that is very classical, and then there is this going to more popular music. And I think it's important to bring a new public that is not going to be just like thrown into a Schubert cycle where he doesn't understand half of the text. You know, I think I like to speak with my audience, to involve them, to make them part of my story and make them laugh or think or cry. And for me, this is the most important thing I do, because opera is great, but you don't have that much freedom. You know, the conductor tells you what to do, the stage director tells you what to do. But when you create a show or a recital, you do whatever you want, and you can be yourself. And this is, I think, what is really me. And so I have a lot of joy to share that with the audience. And yeah, I'm very happy that some festivals are supporting my ideas and this direction that I think we need to take.
That's true, because actually sometimes when I go to a recital, especially in big auditoriums or opera houses, because in small venues it's more close by, you know, but it's very strange to me sometimes to sit there for, I don't know, hour or an hour and something, and that you don't hear the artist speak at all.
Right. It's so strange. Everybody is like silent.
Yeah.
Hours. And because, you know, in the metal scene, when you go on stage, the first thing you do is, how are you doing? And the people are like, great. And so you have this exchange. And the first time I went to my first recital, classical, I went on stage and it was a big silence. And I was so like, what's happening? And then I was like, I hope you enjoy a good night. And then it was like, blah, 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 blah. And I spoke the whole evening, and then I realized that the public started to relax. They, step by step, minute after minute, and started to laugh and speak. And then at the end, my pianist was like, that was very unusual what you did. I was like, what did I do? That you spoke. I was like, really? Nobody does that? So it was so funny, because I had no idea that was not something people do. Because I cannot even imagine going on stage and not speak for an hour and a half. Which is so weird. Because I'm French, I love speaking, you know.
Yeah, me too. No, but that's very true, actually, because if it's a whole cycle or something like that, of course. But if you're doing, I mean, if it's a romantic lieder in German, perhaps, or perhaps, yes, you can say something like this, to me, it means this and whatever, and this is my about that. And I think it makes sense. And somehow when they are speaking, I think this is something that American singers do very well.
Yeah.
And here, somehow in Europe, we started doing that little by little. But I don't know, like 10 years before, it was like a sacrilege or something to speak.
In some places, it's still difficult. When I was in Germany, I even spoke everything in German. I write all my text. I will speak with the audience to explain what I'm doing, because I don't like that I just sing and nobody knows what I'm speaking about. Because for me, the text is the most important, even more than the voice.
Yeah.
So I need that people will understand what I'm saying. So I translated the main subjects and stuff. And the first half, I was so cold because the public was so quiet.
Yeah.
And almost 1 hour, because it was 1.5 hours, the concert. And then they started to relax and they joined me. But I thought, wow, in Spain, no problem. The public is so great in Spain. They are so warm and we are very communicating. I try to speak in Spanish with them and they understand me somehow, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
The country, yeah.
And also what you said about the repertoire, and you too, I don't know what you think, Gabriel, too, but I think that what happens is that it seems like something that it was composed 100 years ago, like, I don't know, like Cole Porter or these songs, or even Cool you know, nowadays. It's, you know, and it's 100 years ago. You know, I mean, to me, it makes no sense. That's completely classical, and it should be accepted as what it is. You know, as
more and more accepted. But you know, very happy because when I had my last exam at school in Lausanne in the EMU, in every exams I had for my master degrees of interpretation, you know, you have to do a half-hour recital. I always put a jazz or pop or American song there, always. And my exam, I decided I will do really half-half. And I thought they will kill me. The jury will destroy me for doing this because I am doing opera singing recital. But that was me, and it was really a story about a girl, and I was acting and actually they all gave me the best grade, and I'm very happy because now I see that a lot of students after me now are doing the same thing, and it's getting so accepted as soon as there is a meaning, you know, and it opens so many doors to bring other instruments than just the piano, to add a bandoneon, to add a cello, a guitar, and I'm very happy that now it's something that is, and they didn't wait for me, of course, to do that, but just somebody had to dare to do it once, and then now it's okay, you know. And I think, yeah, if I can be this person, I will be.
I think so, because actually, I mean, modern it would be, I don't know, if somebody would sing something about by Lady Gaga or something like that, you know, but not, you know what I mean? I mean, because that's, I don't know what's song and what's not song, or I mean, either, you know, I don't know. There's a debate in that I think we can speak for a while.
Exactly. And now we want to play for you some
yeah, sure.
That I love to do, that is 2 different styles. Okay. So an extract of what we will do tomorrow. So the first piece will be the Jota from De Falla, 7 canciones populares españolas, ¿no?
So we are going to play this first. So we are just
the Jota.
The Jota.
So it's 7 pieces, and this is the number 4.
Yeah, I just got it.
Wonderful.
Sorry.
And that's the first piece, and then there will be another one. So I hope you enjoy it.
And I have to stay, because if not, we will disconnect.
Yeah, you have to stay.
All to you.
You will be our friends, and the other one
I will have in the end.
Virtually or at home, if you want. If you like it, and I hope my Spanish is not bad.
I like it for sure.
Gabriel Bianco. me despido de ti. Aunque no quiera tu madre.
Bravi.
Thank you.
It's an amazing song, the lyrics.
It's the guitar.
The Rota is a very famous piece also for guitar, written by Tarrega. We have, with the same team, a lot of variations, so I did not have to push too much my imagination to find the right notes here.
Yeah,
So that was Gabriel's own arrangement of this piece. So now, before we say goodbye, because we spoke about it, I have this big love for popular music and folk music. So this one is, I think, a very famous song in Spain and in Spanish languages. It's Historia de un Amor. And we did our own version once more. Ya no estás más a mi lado, corazón, y en el alma solo tengo soledad. Que si ya no puedo verte, que Dios me hizo quererte para hacerme sufrir más. Fuiste toda la razón de mi existir, adorarte para mí fue religión. En tus besos yo esperaba el calor que me brindaba, el amor, la pasión. Es la historia de un amor como no hay otro igual, que me hizo comprender todo el bien, todo el mal, que le dio luz a mi vida. Ay, qué vida tan oscura, sin tu amor no viviré. Fuiste toda la razón de mi existir, adorarte para mí fue religión. En tus besos yo esperaba el calor que me brindaba, el amor y la pasión. Es la historia de un amor como no hay otro igual, que me hizo comprender todo el bien, todo el mal, que le dio luz a mi vida. Ay, qué vida tan oscura, sin tu amor no viviré. Es la historia de un amor como no hay otro igual, que me hizo comprender todo el bien, todo el mal, que le dio luz a mi vida. Ay, qué vida tan oscura, sin tu amor no viviré.
Super nice. I think we should add this one to our program too, with you too.
I'll add this one for sure. I love it so much.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Really.
Is it okay?
Your Spanish is fantastic, actually. That is fantastic, the arrangement as well. It's great.
Yes. Thank you.
That's his work.
You'll have it here in Zurich.
So yeah, Tomorrow. That's 2 pieces we do tomorrow.
2
Well,
of 16 arrangements that I had to realize in the last month.
We
So
had 16.
I worked a lot.
you had some time, I think.
Yeah, we were locked down, right?
Exactly, that's what I told you. But it was we didn't have so many times to rehearse, so we are still rehearsing right now, and it's gonna be
And we're having this recital in Zurich.
kind of an old factory that became a concert place, but I don't know it so much. Thank you to everybody who is responding to the little music we had. I think we really have to leave you.
Yeah. Send you a big toy for the recital.
So much for this little talk and for
In a place. Yeah. And we expect you both in Barcelona.
Yes, I hope we can come very soon.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Enjoy this week, and to everybody who watched us, thank you for being there, and see you very soon.
You too. Bye. Thank you. Bye.